but Major Burns from Madison Prep, 4-star safety, committed to LSU for a long time, flipped before early signing day last year, ends up in Athens with Kirby Smart in Georgia, plays in 3 games last season, total of 5 tackles, so not a huge playing experience, but to me, Jake, what a get to, and so he joins LSU now, he transfers over, he is the finish to the 2021 recruiting class. I'm not saying that he is going to be the starter, because I don't know. There's a lot of talent in that room. You have to watch it shake out. But what a nice get that here you have a guy who he only played in 3 games, so I imagine he didn't even waste a year of eligibility. Basically,
last year didn't count.
Last year didn't count anyway.
Yeah.
So you just got a player who is almost looks like a high school recruit showing up just with a ton of extra seasoning and experience that another school did kind of on your behalf. Like, I think this is a great move. Even if he doesn't win that starting job, just conceptually from a roster management standpoint, this is elite roster management. Finding a seasoned player like that at a position of need that has the potential to start.
Well, he'll play even if he doesn't start. As we know, the defensive backs in college football now, like, you're going to play a lot. And with Todd Harris and his injury history, I don't want to say you can't count him, but you always got to be ready because Todd's been a great player. Like, you got to go. Like, Todd was a starter on this team in 2018.
Yeah.
Right? And then he gets hurt in 19. He was a starter on the greatest team that we've ever seen. He was going to be a starter that full season. Then he gets hurt there.
He struggled when he got hurt. There were some growing pains there.
He's trying to come back and be his full self. And now, if Todd can come back, I would assume it's going to be Jay Ward and it's going to be Todd Harris. But again, with his history of injuries, like, you've got to be ready to go. And now you've got Major Burns to go along with the other pieces we talked about. You signed 3 safeties in this class. Jordan Tolles is still on this football team, somebody you thought a lot of, not this last signing class, but he's still a young player.
I want to talk about Tolles just for 30 seconds here. Interesting because there was a lot of hype around him. I felt like, I mean, I'm sure you were hearing that same thing, right? Like, kind of through the grapevine, you talk to coaches, you talk to people around the program. It seemed like the player that a lot of people kept going back to last offseason was Tolles, and then it just never quite came to fruition during the season.
I'm not going to hold any defensive back to anything from a year ago.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. That's a good rule.
They were lost. Veteran players that we had seen be stars were lost. Veteran players that we have seen always be in the right spot were lost. So I am not going to hold any defensive back to anything we saw last year. Again, I'm going to go back to it because this isn't like hey, I watch so much film and I know coverages. Multiple times, T-Bob, I could not tell what coverage they were even trying to play.
Well, that's because they didn't know because they were still talking to each other when the ball was snapped.
So,
like, wait, hold on, guys.
Wait, you? Yeah?
Did you just send him in motion? Relax, offense.
Shit.
Come on, dude. We're trying to figure out how to read the. What are we
motion was like
here?
mind-blowing emoji. So I'm not going to hold him to anything. He's a very talented guy. The coaching staff does think a lot of him because you started to hear that because of what he was doing individual wise and like out in training camp and those things. Don't count him out. He'll still be there. So the room got a little bit better, and it's going to get better this weekend whenever you get those young freshmen that aren't already here.
So LSU has been proven to be a bit of a wizard in the transfer portal. I guess a lot of that traces back to O's philosophy. I do think that bringing back Austin Thomas definitely helps as well because now you have an entire department that is very clearly making a concerted and focused effort. Like, that's going to be your umbrella. That's where you operate in. And let's look at where safety was exiting last season. It's a bit of a wasteland. And then you have Mo Hampton decided to transfer. And, like, all of a sudden, like, who do you have left? Well, then, okay, so you sign 2 5-star safeties to help in that regard, and Derek Davis and Sage Ryan. You also bring in Langlois. You get 3 safeties through recruiting. You move Jay Ward, a player who has experience that you like, into that room. He ends up having a good spring and actually really being the talk of spring. You still have some of the young pieces, and now you add Major Burns as well. So between the recruits and Ward and Burns, that's 5 players that you have managed to add to a position of need without taking away anything else from anywhere. Like even Ward moving, like that makes more sense for him in that safety room than in that corner room. So really, it's just a good job of, and there's something they've been really good at in the Orgeron era, of identifying a weakness and finding a creative solution, right? And so I don't know who starts, but you have enough guys there where the starter will be good. I do feel confident
And
about that.
you've got veteran guys, you've got young guys. Like Cam Lewis is still on this football team. Like he's been here a long time.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
you've got a great mixture of guys. And Dwight McLaughlin, if he doesn't step up, Jay Ward's not able to move to safety. So you feel pretty good about the corner room as well. And the fact that you got, Cordell Flott, and hopefully he can have a bounce back year there in the slot. We know what you have on the edges. And so this was a real weakness that has the potential to be something you feel good about, not just like get by with. Now you've put enough talent in this room that you can feel really good about it. Now, can the young players translate from high school to the SEC in time? That's on them, and that's on the coaches this summer to be able to see, because that's a pretty hard transition to play safety. Now, you can play, but to be like a guy, it's very difficult. All the defensive back room. I mean, what Stingley was able to do as a true freshman is beyond remarkable, right? So you've got some mixture there. Hopefully there's enough pieces there that you feel good about 3-4 safeties, and you feel good about Cordell in the slot there, and you feel good about Dwight being able to fill in on the edge.
Well, yeah. And how about what Eli Riggs did as a true freshman as well, especially in as toxic situation as he was in? That's pretty unbelievable.
You got to get him back fully healthy. Listen to everybody. He is going to be a full go whenever they get back together.
And then Ryan Thibodeau's even mentioned Rodarius Jones, right? So there are bodies there, there are names there, and Major Burns is a major addition to this roster. All right, coming up next, close out hour number 1 as we prepare to Flester in hour 2. Keep locked right here on OTB.